Hey everyone, today I want to talk about books again. And just a heads up, I may not be posting these kind of videos as frequently as I used to because I love physical books. I love reading books in English, and right now I don't have access to as many books in English as these physical books. And although my babe has a Kindle and I would have access to all my beloved books on his Kindle, I have yet to get used to reading books on a screen, which I'm not super fond of. It will probably take me a couple weeks or months to adjust, so if you don't see these videos as often as you used to, you know why. Oh, and funny fact, I started reading a lot of books in English way back when I was a kid because I wanted to improve my English. Not only me speaking it, also writing it. And it helped me a lot with improving my language skills way back when I didn't have access to loads of things that I have access to now. Just a funny, well, it's not really funny, and interesting. Not really interesting either. Just a fact. Just wanted to put that out there. Let's get started. The first book that I want to talk about is Unstuffed by Ruth. Now this book took me by surprise because I was thinking, well, it's probably going to be about minimalism, it's probably going to be about how you can live with less stuff, that sort of thing. And it really isn't. It goes through everything that you can think of, and it dives really deep into how living an intentional life with less stuff can make for a much, much more enjoyable and better life. It's a book that I highly, highly recommend to anyone interested in minimalism and just living a bit more intentional. The second book is Living Well, Spending Less, also by Ruth. This book was a very interesting read. I actually prefer Unstuffed. I like the writing more. However, the topic is just as interesting and probably really interesting for anyone interested in living frugally and again with a bit more intention. My third recommendation is a really, really good one. It's called New Order, a decluttering handbook for creative folks. See, struggling right there. It's really, really hilarious, and it takes you step by step through the process of decluttering, giving things away, donating them, tossing them. It's a really, really fun read, and if you were just getting started and need a little bit of help and like to read books that are really, really fun to read, then I highly recommend this one. Now the next book was actually a recommendation by one of you lovely people, and I decided to read it, and I loved the book. The book is called Light on Life. Shares his experience with starting yoga, with really diving into the practice and what yoga can do for you. If you are practicing yoga, no matter what type of yoga you're practicing, this is going to be a lovely book. If you are thinking about starting your yoga practice, it might be, well, maybe too much information. However, if you're really, really interested in yoga, then the book is definitely for you. The Art of Discarding, how to get rid of clutter and find joy. This book actually inspired Marie Kondo to write her book and to start her business. And I was therefore really, really interested in reading it. Of course, I'm unable to read Japanese, so I picked it up in English, and I do appreciate that probably some of the things got lost in translation or may not be as beautiful when translated into the English language. However, those things aside, it was an amazing read. As the title suggests, it's really all about how you can let go of your possessions. It's really interesting because the author makes it very clear that it's absolutely okay to just let go of your stuff and to also discard your stuff if there's really no better or other way of letting go of what you do want to let go of. If you just started out with minimalism, I highly recommend it. If you are a really hardcore minimalist, I highly recommend it. And if you're just interested in a topic, I also highly recommend it. It's a great book. It's a fairly fast read. It's a fairly easy read. And it's beautiful because unlike other books, it really just focuses on discarding. Whereas lots of other books I find just touch on a topic. This book goes great into detail about discarding. The next recommendation was actually a recommendation from one of my lovely co-workers. It's called The Gilded Razor by Sam. Initially, I really wasn't sure what to expect from the book, and I'm so glad that I picked it up. Granted, I had to read the first, I think 2 or so pages, 2 times. The first time around when I was reading it, I wasn't really sure. I laid it aside and then I picked it up again, and it grabbed me. It's such a captivating? It's such an interesting read that really takes you by surprise. How can I put it? It's about someone who is fairly well off. He's living in Manhattan and he is struggling with drug addiction. And it goes through the whole journey, and I found it really eye-opening. If you like reading such books, then I highly recommend it. I found it very touching, and the writing is absolutely breathtaking, at least in my opinion. Now on to book number 7. The book is called Shame Nation, The Global Epidemic of Online Hate by Sue. It was a couple months ago where I happened to Google one of the titles of a video that I posted. I don't remember why, I was really just curious. So I googled it, and then I stumbled upon a forum post where people were openly discussing my video. The content that I shared, lots of people in the comments accused me of being a liar, of misrepresenting what I was talking about. And yeah, there were lots of really, how can I put it, lots of really rude things. And I was just completely taken aback because I had no intentions whatsoever with misrepresenting anything, and I really wasn't. I was just openly talking about something, and I really needed a day or two to take a step back, to no longer open this forum entry, and to just move on with my life. And I was so surprised that people who don't know me personally would write such rude things about someone, in this case me, that they know nothing about. And this brought me to the book Shame Nation. That's probably why I ended up picking it up. It's about how online hate can really deeply affect people, and of course there are various extremes of online hate. She shares personal stories from various people. She goes through cases that are publicly known that were very extreme cases of online hate. And lots of people are subject to rude comments, offensive comments, and various forms of online hate, whether that's from people that you know or people that you don't know. And I think this book is just really important, incredibly important. If you are online, if you are using the internet, and if it's just for email, read this book. It's just an incredibly eye-opening book, and I just highly recommend it from the bottom of my heart to literally every single person who is using the internet. And again, even if it's just for email, read the book. That was it for today's video. Those were books that I've really enjoyed. And there are actually a handful of more books that I've read recently that I'm going to make a whole separate video about, because I don't want to make these videos too long. That's why I usually talk about 5 to 7 books to make it relatively short and sweet. I hope you enjoyed. Have a lovely day and see you guys next time.